Welcome back, everyone. Scarland here, bringing you a new Neverwinter video, and as the title suggests, we're going to be talking about Module 22 and possibly the new Demogorgon 3-piece artifact set. So, we are on preview right now. Of course, all things can change. However, this is going to be a discussion video on things to come, what we're looking at right now, and how it is going to be implemented into the game. Now, again, we are on preview, so everything is subject to change. You know, things, the gear can change, whatever might change. So, but we are going to have a minor discussion about this. We're going to look at the new 3-piece set, and we're going to talk about that as well. So, we know Mod 22, supposedly Mod 22, is launching on October 1st. And the rumor around town is that it's going to be a platform launch. That means Xbox, PlayStation, and PC should all be receiving Mod 22 at the same time. Now, we're all under the impression that it's the end of the year and this is going to be another limited time campaign. So if you think about how Redeemed Citadel was set up, we are assuming the same is going to be for what we think the name is, Dragon Hunters Guild. So I'm not sure how they're going to intertwine Demogorgon with dragons, but this Demogorgon could be a completely different thing all by itself. So Mod 22 could be all about dragons and the Dragon Hunters Guild, and then they could be redoing Demogorgon on top of that as a new trial. So what leads us to this discussion? Well, again, we are on preview. If you go to the Epic Trials, Demogorgon is gone. Alright? Demogorgon no longer exists. It's taken out of the game. Which kind of sucks because Demogorgon was one of my favorite trials. It's one of the OG trials in the game, and I really enjoyed Demogorgon on a personal level. So now it appears that it is being taken out of the game and it's going to be redid and reintroduced as a much higher level trial. So now think of, we've had Tower of the Mad Mage, we've had Zariel's Challenge. Think of this new Demogorgon as something that's going to be even harder than Zariel's Challenge, most likely. So, we will take a look at this new 3-piece set. We'll go into the collections. Let's go to the artifacts. And notice it's all the way over in the artifact section for the Wicked artifacts. So it's right here at the top. And it's going to be Demogorgon's Reach. 1,000 item level at Mythic. Keep in mind, other artifacts of this caliber, the latest artifacts, if we look at, the Sparkling Fae emblem, as well as the diamond pinned, these item levels are only 450. So now, unless they change it, as it sits right now, the item level of this artifact at Mythic is 1,000. So that is a huge increase up from 450. Now, whether or not that stays or changes, we will have to see. Again, this is preview. Whatever makes it to the game, makes it to the game. But as it sits right now, the item level is 1,000 on this artifact. So if that's going to be the new thing going forward, all the new artifacts coming out at Mythic are going to be 1,000 item level, we're going to see significant item level increases across the board. Right now, as it sits, if you're a maxed out character, you're somewhere around, 64,000 item level? So now, if we're going to be increasing artifacts to 1,000, you're going to gain, another 600 item level per artifact. You can have 4 of them. So, sooner or later, folks, we're going to be seeing, 75,000 item level, sooner or later, and it's just going to keep increasing as the game, goes on. It's an MMO, it's made to progress. So we'll see what happens. So that's the item level. If we look at the statistics here, it looks like we have maximum HP, power, forte. So not a bad combination for statistics on it. Now here is the effect. You summon forth 6 tentacles from the abyss around target enemy's location. over the next 6 seconds, each dealing X amount of damage. In addition, any foe struck by a tentacle becomes rotting for 6 seconds. Rotting enemies take 3% more damage and have their incoming healing reduced by 5% per stack, and this stacks up to 6 times. Now, when this comes out, we're going to have to test it and actually look at the legitimate numbers, etc. Theoretically, written on paper, this would be like an 18% debuff if you were casting it on a single target and all the tentacles were hitting the single target. So you could get up to 18% debuff. However, if you use this in an AoE situation and you're only hitting, 3 or 4 different mobs, etc., I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know how legitimate the debuff on it is going to work, etc. It might not be the best debuffing artifact out there, but on paper, it looks good. But of course, we have to test everything that Cryptic puts into the game for if it's broken, if it's overperforming, if it's underperforming, or if it's just complete doo-doo. But as it sits right now, it's a solid artifact. And again, it's 1,000 item level, if that remains. Now, here's the interesting part, is the 3-piece set. This is going to be the new best-in slot for DPS, undoubtedly. On each critical hit from your at-wills, encounters, or daily powers, gain a stack of Demogorgon's Fury for 10 seconds. Each stack increases your outgoing damage by 1%, and it stacks up to 5 times. So it's a 5% damage buff, which we're all accustomed to. Most 3-piece sets that, we're running usually get about 5% self-damage buff. However, you should be critting all the time, so this should theoretically have a 100% uptime on it. Now, it also has the tagline at the bottom: if you land 5 critical attacks in a row, you do an additional hit for 150 magnitude damage. So if you crit consecutively for 5 times, you're going to proc this. Now, is this going to have an internal cooldown? Are you going to be able to constantly proc it as long as you consecutively land critical hit? We don't know. We won't know until we're able to actually get a hold of this item and do legitimate testing on the item. But as a 3-piece set, it doesn't matter. It's going to have a 5% damage bonus. It should have 100% uptime as long as you're critting. You're going to be critting nonstop. So, in my opinion, this is going to be a go-to 3-piece set for all DPS. Now, how hard is it going to be to obtain? Who knows? We don't know how hard the new 10-man, Demogorgon trial is going to be. Is it going to be harder than Zariel? We simply just don't know yet. Now, again, this does come with a 3-piece set, so we need to go down to Epic Equipment. It should be the very first tab. And here we go. Demogorgon's Wrath. And immediately, what's the thing we're noticing here, folks? Oh, look. Mythic Equipment. Finally. It took 8 years to get here, but we are now getting Mythic Equipment. So that means Mythic Necklace, Mythic Belt. As it sits, up until this point, 8 years into the life cycle, we were only capable of taking our artifact equipment or 3-piece set, namely the belt and the necklace, to legendary. You can see on the left I have the Starshade Choker on currently. So yeah, now we can actually take equipment all the way to Mythic. Now, I don't agree with the item level on the equipment. We're only actually gaining 20 item level. You can see a legendary Starshade Choker is already 980 item level. So the benefit of taking it to Mythic for only an increase of 20 item level, I don't necessarily agree with that. I would like to see the necklace and the belt actually be something along the lines of 1200 item level. So the artifacts have a huge jump. So you're gaining almost 600 item level for the new artifact, Whereas the necklace and the belt, we're only going to gain 20 item level each. So I don't necessarily agree with that. Their numbers are a little off, in my opinion. Hopefully they adjust this, address it, look at it, because it just doesn't make sense. Now we're getting Mythic equipment, but there's no real bonus to taking it to Mythic. You don't unlock another enchantment a slot or anything. I would like to see that even. Add a third enchantment slot. So you would add a defensive slot to the necklaces, and then you can add an offensive slot to the belts or something. There has to be a reason to take your equipment to Mythic, because it's certainly not going to be the 20 item level. I mean, yeah, all of us sweaty tryhards, of course, are going to level it up to Mythic, but in reality, there's no real reason to do that. You're only gaining the 20 item levels. So, and like I said, the statistics only go up just a fraction. So, yeah, they need to adjust that. They need to address it. They need to look at it. They need to crunch the numbers. I'd like to see it be like at least 1,200 each. Or if you don't take the item level up, then add another slot. You should have 3 slots now, so 1 of each slot. A utility slot, offensive slot, defense slot on both the necklace and belts. There has to be a reason for a player to want to upgrade their gear. And right now, as it sits on preview, there simply isn't. So we have the necklace. It's going to be the Heart's Twine. Again, 1,000 item level. It's going to be Critical Strike and Forte, and you are going to get 5 Strength. So again, 5 Strength is not going to help casters, right? So now you have to think to yourself, well, why is it 5 Strength on a necklace? Most necklaces, if not all necklaces in the game, all have Constitution. So they are increasing the attribute by 1, but as it sits right now, it's Strength. And that does not benefit all DPS classes. So now, as a Warlock main, I have to look at this and say, well, now I'm sacrificing HP for an attribute that I do not need. Strength on a caster is just 100% not needed. Now, they could just switch it back to Constitution. That way everyone's happy. Everybody will take the additional HP. Or they can also add 5 Intelligence. So not would it only give you 5 Strength, but it also gives you 5 Intelligence. That way, all melee characters, as well as casters, will then want this set, and this set will be best in slot and high in demand. It's also all sellable. It's bind on equip, so you'll be able to get this stuff from the trowel and then sell it as well. So there is money to be made. You can farm this and then, flip it on the auction house for, I'm guessing, a substantial amount of money. If it's going to be a harder trowel than Zariel, then there's already only the top 1% of the community that's ever going to be able to do it in the first place. So now those people are going to capitalize on the market and just, charge extravagant prices. But yeah, they need to really look at this gear. I mean, I know Cryptic Studios is Cryptic Studios, guys. We know this. But me looking at this and analytically looking at this and saying, what is this? This is kind of garbage. Now we can upgrade to Mythic. We only gain 20 item level. As a caster, this doesn't even benefit me at all. The only reason I want this set is for the 3-piece bonus, but at the same time, you should be able to wear this and benefit from the statistics. So they can either change it to Constitution, or they can simply put 5 Intelligence on it as well. So it'll be 5 Strength and 5 Intelligence. I don't know. That's what I have to say about it, but people can have their own opinions, and that's fine. So now, when we look at the belt, I didn't mix this up, did I? No, this is the belt, right? So the cord is the belt. So now they put the Constitution on the belt. So if you compare that with what we have right now, the belt has 2 Constitution and 2 Wisdom. Well, now your belt has 5 Constitution and Combat Advantage and Forte are the other statistics. So I don't know. Maybe they can flip-flop this. Put the Constitution on the necklace where it should be in the first place, And then on the belt itself, put 5 strength and 5 intelligence. That's what makes logical sense. So I don't exactly know why they put the Constitution on the belt and then put 5 strength on the necklace. That just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And again, it's preview. Hopefully someone at Cryptic watches my videos still and goes, huh, that's a good point. Maybe we should think about doing that. So there it is, folks. That's the 3-piece set. Again, Demogorgon Trow is gone. We have a new 3-piece set. We have Mythic equipment for the very first time. We're all assuming this is going to be coming in Mod 22, but we have no idea. So it could come later in Mod 22. This could be the new 10-man Trow when, you know, we get through a couple milestones. We don't even know anything about Mod 22 yet. This is our first indication of new things coming. It does appear that they are completely redoing the Demogorgon Trow. Whether or not they make it harder than Zariel, or if it's going to be a mid-tier Trow. I mean, it's probably going to be harder than Zariel in my opinion, because they have the new gear coming out of there. It's going to be the chase items, etc. So it'll be interesting to see what happens overall. That's all I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Just a discussion video today. Make sure to leave all your questions, comments, and concerns below. And that's all I got for you. We'll see you guys real soon.